everybody, and welcome back to Break Time Conversations, a YouTube channel where I have conversations around the theme of education. I have been a teacher all my life, and education fascinates me. And along my journey, I have met so many interesting and inspiring people. And so I decided to document my conversations with them here so that you too can hear their stories and be inspired and amazed by the work that they do. I'm here today with Awnish Raj. He's the founding member and head of communications and at Involve, an organization that believes in developing student agency and making students more self-reliant. Avnish, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you
I'm
so
so
much for the
excited
invitation.
to chat with you. So why don't you start by telling us about your journey and where you started and how you've come to where you are today?
So I'm from Bihar. I did my schooling from there. Then I moved to Pune. I did my bachelor's and master's in computer science from there. Then while I was doing my master's, I was into exploring different opportunities into the IT sector to understand if that is something which I really want to do when I'm 40 or 50. I mean, when I'm older, right? And then I kind of 2.5 years in between while I was working, I was also kind of volunteering with an NGO called Bhumi, where I was teaching maths to grade 4 kids. So that was going on along with the college. So college, job, and that volunteering. 2016, one of my friend called Devanshu, he was in IT Madras. We thought of piloting this idea of peer teaching in schools of Delhi, and we did that. That was really well. That went really well, and then I went back to the job and pursuing my masters. Then I think while I was finishing that up, um, we kind of I kind of realized that the job is something which I'm not really in, which I wasn't really enjoying doing. So I kind of left that. I think somewhere in that time my master's was also finishing up. So that time was, in July, I think 21st or 22nd, I moved to Chennai. I left the job, complete my master's, and then we started Involved from Chennai. And then since then, I think we have been, so we then expanded to Bangalore as well in 2018. And that has been the journey till now, in a very short summary, so to say. So it has all been very, as soon as opportunities come, just take it and just see where it goes. That is how the journey has been till now.
Wow, so amazing. I mean, people like you I always wonder if I was your age, would I have been doing as much as what you guys are doing, studying and
We have
volunteering
already done a lot.
and then starting an organization. That's amazing. So I remember the first time that we met, it was a few years
Mhm,
ago, was when you
mhm.
came to speak to me about peer teaching. And I know you
Correct.
mentioned that now as well. Could you tell us more about that?
Mhm.
I'm sure there are some people who don't really know what peer teaching is all about.
Yeah, so when we started, peer teaching is basically on a concept which talks about students teaching each other, higher grade students, students who are in the older age group, they teaching their juniors. So we started with this whole mindset of implementing this in schools because every we have been teaching our friends, and that's a concept which is not very new. We have seen execution of this in universities abroad. And every classroom has, I think, definitely 10 to 20% of kids who are really good with studies. And we also know that India doesn't has enough teachers. Even the teachers who are there, they are not, a lot of them are not very well qualified, and still the teacher training is going on. But the problem is so big that it's going to take years to change. Like, make change to happen. So why not? Why can we? How can we just kind of implement something which is not like a solution, but like an alternate solution to uh, the challenge which is ultimately still there, that the students are not able to improve in their literacy levels. So we kind of started with this whole peer teaching model. But then later on, we also realized that student agency is something which has to be created. So, which means that students should take the responsibility of learning in their own hands. They can do that, and students should also be, their voices should be heard. Their choices, they should be asked what they want to choose. Like, we're not, students should not are not seen as, students are just seen as someone who are on the receiving end of knowledge, and then they're not seen as someone who can be partners, who we can partner with in their own learning. So yeah, I mean, going back to the question, that's how we started, that peer teaching is something which can be utilized, and students can definitely help other students. We can formalize the structure. make it more impactful for the students who are teaching, and the students who are teaching, sorry, for the students who are taught, and for the students who are teaching, how it helps them is that they improve in their leadership and time management and creativity and problem solving skills because they're a teacher right now. So this is something which was the base with what we started. This has been going on, like right now we are doing it in Chennai, Bangalore, and MP, and hopefully we'll go in more places in the coming future.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine so many lessons being learned along the way, right? I mean, for the
Mhm.
teachers who are, I mean, the students who are teaching and the students who are learning from their
For
peers.
being taught, correct.
Yeah, that's amazing. Um, yeah, I was going to ask you about student agency as well,
Mhm.
but you answered that. So I want to know how have no, how have schools and parents taken to this whole idea of peer teaching?
So
How have
initially, I get it. There is this. The reaction is. It's not even a response. It's a reaction. The reaction is like very something which you're not really um, can't really believe that it can happen. That how can students teach other students? And that's exactly coming from the whole mindset that students are someone who should be listening to us, who should be following what we tell them. They don't have the capacity and everything to make decisions on their own. On their own. So the reaction of teachers and parents and everyone is mostly not believing in this whole aspect of peer teaching. But when the magic happens in a month or two, like I've seen it in the front of my own eyes, that when we start in a school and we have so we do teacher orientation, we do parents orientation, we tell them what the program is, what's the benefit. Initially the enrollment is a little less, but then you just have to be a early and have an early adopter of this. If you are, then probably it'll be not very difficult for you to move to a place where you start seeing impact, and it happens in a month or two, because initially the attendance is really less for the students who are teaching, and the full students who are being taught. But then as the whole setup is there, and happens in the school, and in the next few days, what happens that there are talks around the classroom and school that there's something interesting happening after the school or in a different period. Students are teaching students, and I really the students who are being taught, they say that I really love being taught by that bhaiya or didi. They cry if you change their bhaiyas or didi, right? The students who are teaching, they are like, hey, these are like my kids. Like I am responsible for them. I have to prepare for the plans, lesson plans, and everything. So I have to come on time, be like a leader in front of them, not have not say these bad words. And then when this interaction is seen by the parents and the teachers of the school and the principals and any outsider, it's a view which is very beautiful for the eyes, and it's very beautiful to hear those students teaching other students sitting in a circle. We have pictures on our social media handle. So then their belief starts improving, that students can actually take the responsibility. So it's like a journey which has to happen.
Ah,
It'll take time to.
that's so lovely. I can imagine how heartwarming it is. I love it when you said
It
that
is very.
they love their bhaias and didis teaching them. That's
Yeah.
so nice. So, coming to the end of our conversation, I know that you had a literacy project going that you just,
Mhm.
I attended that
Made
as
it
well.
open source. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, what else do you guys have up your sleeve? Any plans for the future?
So at Involve, we have a few more open source content which we have in the pipeline, because we really believe that. And I was even having a conversation with one of our mentors, Ulhas sir, where we also spoke about that the problem is huge. Now, in the social sector, everyone is working on solving the same problem. Why aren't we collaborating? Because it's gonna take time to change that, to make change happen. If we collaborate and share our resources in terms of the things we are making or the things we are learning, that will ensure that we are not wasting our resources, because social sector organizations always have this whole, they have a limitation of resources with them. So that's gonna benefit each other, like the sharing. And then what's gonna happen is that the problem will take probably lesser time. You don't know how much time, but obviously you'll see much more improvement, 10x improvement than what you're seeing right now. The other thing is, so yeah, we have a few open source content in the pipeline, which will be making it public in the coming few months. Apart from that, the year is going to end right now, like the whole academic year. So we are right now planning that, now that whole COVID thing has happened in the last 2 years, and we have still been very resilient with the execution and of our programs, how we can see our programs going to other places and collaborate more with organizations and people who really want to implement this. So the team is planning for that, and I am very sure, looking at the history of their execution, there'll be a lot more better in the next coming years.
That sounds amazing. I love that collaboration. I think that's the only way forward, right?
Mhm.
So, all the best,
Thank
Avnish
you so
and
much.
team, with all that you're going to do. And thank you for sharing those wonderful resources online for all of us to enjoy as well. And I hope that
Always
everybody
welcome.
can, benefit from these open source
I hope that
resources.
too.
Yes. Thank you so much, Avnish. And I
All
hope to
right.
chat with you further later.
Yep. Thank you so
Okay.
much, man.
Bye bye.